Hello to all on YouTube and welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. Just a bit of a wrap up for the end of the year. I've been fairly busy as my storeman's been off for 4 weeks, so I haven't been able to put many videos up, but this is one of the jobs I've been doing, an extension for the Kearns borer. And what I'm making here is a holder for a fly cutter to put in the snout bar for cutting larger diameters. One thing that's always been lacking on this borer is rigidity in the slide here. And if you try and do big work, it just deflects the tool away and doesn't want to cut. So I'm hoping this will give me the rigidity I want. I'll be able to shorten up the work that I'm doing, and I will drill in from the back end to lighten this as much as possible. If it still wobbles a little bit too much out of balance, I'll take a big scallop out of the side of the tool to reduce the weight. I've angled the face here at about 15 degrees to the axis of the tool, and I'll be taking a big face out of here to put some set screws in and a slot in there to hold 1/2 inch shank tooling. This suits my smaller indexable insert holders, razor carbide tools, and of course high-speed steel square blanks. So that'll be a bit of a video next, machining the end of it. I didn't get any here because it was a grueling process, but also getting to use the Kearns again. It's running quite sweet now. Very little noise, and it starts a lot better on the rotary converter. I don't get the contactors dropping out. So that'll be one job. Maybe with the bad weather we're going to get over Christmas, I'll get back in here for a day or two, but I doubt it. I think I'll be stuck with family. Shouldn't say stuck with family, but yeah, be with them for a while. Okay, move around to another job. It looks like the tubes are finished for the boiler. A couple of copper gaskets to make for the plugs for the top, and it'll be back into the boiler inspector for a hydro. Some of the plugs were a bit iffy. The Chinese brass fittings are just bloody rubbish. The BSPT threads are not cut correctly. You've got to chase everything with button dies. But I think I've got it dry. We'll see when I take it to the inspector. Here's a job that's come in that could turn out to be interesting later in the year. I have a friend who uses a quantity of these taps, 20 or 30 at a time, and he's working in 4340 pre-hard, only getting 4 or 5 holes per tap, so the cost per hole is quite high. And it's a very unusual tap made by OSG. It's a spiral flute tap, but it has a slow spiral, not a fast spiral. And I think that's the reason this is the only tap that will stand up to the job. The included angle of the edge is a damn sight greater than a high spiral tap. But it's got quite interesting wear. It's only wearing on the rake face, up the flute of the tap. There's probably about 1 to 1.5 hour wear, but he says that if he tries to take it any further with one more hole, it'll snap the tap. First grind I'll be doing will be radial relief behind the cutting edge, which is what this attachment is made for, and we'll see if we can get any life out of the tap that way to renew the edge. But I think I'll be setting up between centres on the Clarkson and grinding up the flute there. It'll only be about 1.5 to 2 hours clean up, and it should be as good as new. So that'll be quite an interesting video. We'll be setting up between centres with one relief centre ground down nearly flat there. I don't know how flat this is. I think I won't have to dress the wheel much, just a couple of thou to put a slight radius in it should be enough. And I'll be indexing off the back of a flute with my universal indexing finger. So this will be clamped down against the finger to get position. Bring the wheel across the face to renew the face. Bring it up almost vertical like that. And I think I should be able to get 3 or 4 teeth there without changing the geometry too much. If it does look like it'll be changing the geometry, I'll be coming in with the tooth vertical, and that way I can angle in at the same angle as the flute. That really is the preferred method, but I might be trying that second. We'll see if we can't get him a bit of satisfaction. And I think per job, per 20 or 30 taps, we should be able to save him $500 or $600, and that's a fair bit of margin to throw into a small job. Taps are very interesting to grind. They perform differently to what one would expect, especially as most of the taps are run way too slow for optimal performance. Okay, that's me signing off for the year. I've got to make some family vids after this. Please like and subscribe. A few more numbers up there and subscribers would make me very happy. See you in 2022.